Down to business.
When he drinks, he thinks.
That's the nectar of the gods, baby.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the number one liquid-fueled, liquid lubricated show on the interwebs. This is the Whiskey Musings Broadcast. You know, it's funny. When I created that intro, I said, you know what? I'm just going to be the number one. That's just it. I'm going to be the number one. And as far as I can tell, I am. However, there is another show out there that is literally liquid fueled and liquid lubricated. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in just a little bit. Now, I want to thank everyone who is here. I've increased to 506 just in the last couple of days over on Rumble, and I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate everybody over on Facebook. I've really been doing a big push over on Facebook as well. I am over 500 and something like 20 or 30 over on Facebook. I appreciate all you guys. And last week I picked up an additional subscriber over on YouTube, 107 instead of 106. So the obviously things are starting to really rock and roll here for the Whiskey Musings Broadcast, and it is all because of every single one of you who come here every single time I stream to force me to put out the best content and the best productions that I possibly can. And so I am just extremely excited. So I have some information on the possibly the number 2 liquid fueled, liquid lubricated show. I also have, they say flattery is the imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I've got something on that tonight. As well as I have a couple of really, really cute kitties. Couple of cute kitties submitted by Bam over on Rumble for tonight's Pet of the Week. And I received a package this week that I need to open for mail call tonight. So jam-packed show for you tonight. And I hope that everybody hangs around and, enjoys the program as much as I'm enjoying doing it for you. And hey, really quick, just want to tell you, so this background is actually not mine. It was submitted to me by Buddy Weiser. And Buddy sent me a whole bunch of things over the course of the last year or so. And this was one of them, and I happen to like this one. This is really great. In fact, we had a bit of a discussion about the microphone that you can see right here that my finger is on, because he was talking about a particular kind of mic. I think it was the Shure 56 or something like that. And then I went ahead and put this up as my background, and he emails me and he says, "Are you pulling my leg? Are you kidding me? Did you go ahead and put that microphone right there in the background? Did you overlay?" And I was like, no. But anyway, so so this is the background. I'm going to open this up because obviously during the wintertime, I like to run my video with the cabin because it makes me feel like I'm up in the mountains with the snow and everything else. But the rest of the year, the other 9 months roughly, is basically open season. I mean, I like whiskey themed, American themed, backgrounds and stuff, but I'm going to open this up again. If you have, or you find a background that you would like me to put up in the background, for the show, make sure that it's a 1920 by 1080p sized background. That's the best. If you send me something that's not that, that's kind of small, it tends not to render very well. By render, I mean show up very well. So If you find something that you think I would be interested in and you want to send it to me, send it to fans, F-A-N-S, that's Foxtrot, Alpha, November, Sierra, at whiskeymusings.online. You can send it in and just put backgrounds in the subject line is fine. And I'll go ahead and grab them and put them in, and then you'll probably see it pop up because, that's just the way I roll here on the Whiskey Musings Broadcast. And yes, I believe I have Outlaw Dogs. I think I do have your George Washington kegs somewhere. So, but anyway. All right. Let me go ahead and let's just get this party started by me telling you what I am drinking tonight. Tonight, I am drinking from one of my favorites, the Jameson Black Barrel. And as you can see, I'm getting a little low, but that's okay. I'm actually getting a little low on a lot of things. And, the more that I think about like the economy and everything, I'm wondering if I should just make a real big run to the liquor store to make sure that I'm all stocked up on whiskey in case we end up having a crash of our financial system. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, sort of, but not really. Well, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, I'm probably going to have to go and take care of that soon. So, and yes, Bonnie, I know. Bonnie, I understand you want me to do the Four Roses. I've got to go get another bottle. I'm running low on Four Roses. I try to rotate, okay? I'm just trying to rotate things, and so yeah. Anyway, all right. And of course, tonight is, let me make sure I get the right button here. And tonight is Whiskey Wednesday, which of course it's like Taco Tuesday, but for badasses. That's right. And all of you, my whiskey warriors, all of you guys are badasses, and I do appreciate every single one of you coming out and stopping by and saying hi. Anyway, all right. So tonight's broadcast is brought to you by, as soon as I can figure it out here. There we go. TGRN, True Grit Roots Network, champions independent artists while paying respects to the pioneers who shaped modern roots music, featuring outlaw country, blues, and rock with a unique twist of urban that is carefully selected and purposely put together. We are the radio highway that connects the back roads, highways, and city streets to your favorite dance hall, roadhouse, and juke joint. TGRN provides original, exclusive programming and interviews that are hosted and produced by our own team of DJs, hosts, and personalities. Find us on the web at tgrn.net to download our app in the App Store and from Google Play. Alternatively, you can find us in the Live 365 catalog of digital radio stations and through the Live 365 app as well. You can also play our station on your Amazon Alexa by saying, play True Grit Roots Network from Live 365. Be sure to use the word from in the command, play True Grit Roots Network from Live 365. Live 365 is now on Roku as well, so you can play through your television set. TGRN also announces our sponsor, American Badass Whiskey from Garage Oil Spirits. American Badass Whiskey is a high-octane, extra-fine blend of American whiskey made for every hard-working man and woman that proudly puts in a solid day's work every day. Check out this new award-winning Texas whiskey at garageoilspirits.com. That website, once again, is garageoilspirits.com. Breaking boundaries for authentic roots radio, TGRN, True Grit Roots Network, Austin, Texas. And whoops, that happens when I press the wrong buttons here. Wait, which one is it? It's this one. Okay. See, I go and I press the wrong buttons. I Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and get into it. You know, one thing about doing this podcasting, and by the way, I believe I am coming up on a 3-year mark here in just a short period of time, which means I'm going to have to put together a special for that as well. I've got to look. I think it might be within the next week or so. So that will be particularly awesome. But, you know, one thing about conservative radio, conservative podcasting, conservative anything is that we need to all kind of stick together, and we have to stick together and push each other to make good quality content. Well, one of the sites that I obviously follow, or one of the major, kind of like Rush in a way. I mean, Rush was like the really big one, and unfortunately he has passed, rest in peace. But one of the major people who have stepped up in his absence, not replacing, but stepped up in his absence, is Dan Bongino. And this popped this weekend. Let's go ahead. And I just want to congratulate Dan Bongino for making #1 in primetime for his show Unfiltered on Saturday. That is an incredible achievement. It is, I mean, it's great that he was able to do that. And I know, there's people like Greg Gutfeld and Mark Levin's show and those kinds of things. They are all doing quite well. And of course, Mark K is also doing quite well as well. And so, we've all got to kind of stick together, and we all have to help promote each other at times. I know it seems a bit rough, but we have to kind of help promote each other. We have to, bring each other together in terms of what we are doing, because obviously the television industry and the radio industry and the entertainment all together has definitely been taken over a lot by the left, and we have to fight back. There's companies like Daily Wire. Daily Wire is putting together, kids content and putting together movies and starting to do some television program and things like that. And essentially we've got to all kind of stick together. So toward that end, when I find out about certain people and certain things, I get a little curious. And this one actually comes, ironically, this is part of the reason why I have the background up. Buddy Weiser sent me an email, and he apparently was out trolling Rumble, and he basically found a site. And, I kind of feel, I mean, I know I'm going to be tooting Buddy's horn on this one, but honestly, he's sort of like my evangelist, my personal evangelist, because he went out and he's done a lot of things. He's done a lot of things for this channel, for the Whiskey Musings broadcast. He's been advocating it on other sites. He's been pushing people to subscribe. And so, I appreciate every single one of you and everything else, but I also have to take note when somebody goes a little bit above and out of their normal way to help promote the broadcast. Well, on this particular site, this particular place, it's called Booze and News. Let me go ahead and bring this up so you guys can see it. Now, understand, I haven't delved in to this podcast for very long. I watched last night's broadcast that they did. They go live every single day of the week, throughout the week itself, the regular work week. So Monday through Friday, and they start at 9 p.m., which is, roughly 45 minutes from now. So if I go long, it's going to be a little bit. But last night, Buddy decided to hop into their chat, and he went ahead and promoted the Whiskey Musings broadcast. Now, they talked about it 3 times. They talked about the Whiskey Musings broadcast 3 times. And I only grabbed 2 of the 3 instances. So what I'm going to show you here in just a second is 2 of those snippets, but I also have a quick black screen in between. So keep in mind, that was taking out all of the other stuff that they had in between. But let's go ahead and just kind of take a listen to this. And let me go ahead and bring that up here.
Buddy Weiser just dubbed. Check out Whiskey Musings on Rumble. Oh, we love Whiskey Musings.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Whiskey Musings, one of my favorite shows. Live on Wednesday, 8 and Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. In fact, you know, Whiskey Musings, love to get him on the show. Absolutely.
Yep, we'd love to.
Buddy Weiser says, yo, give Whiskey an email and he will respond. Whiskey just got 500 subs. He will do it. Hey, right on, buddy. Buddy Weiser, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for heck yeah. We will get in contact. I'd love to get him on the show. It's really funny that you say that because just a few weeks ago I was watching one of his videos and I was like, man, love to get this guy on the show. That'd be great.
All right. And so that being said, the other clip that they had a little bit later on, toward the end of the program, you know, Buddy tried to let him know to send me an email again. And the thing about it is that they admitted that they didn't know where to find my email address. So that being said, okay, and I know it's a little late for you folks, but if they are streaming by the time we get done here, I know that for me, because I'm on the Pacific Coast, it's a lot easier for me. I'm going to go and do a quick drive-by on their program. So hopefully they're going to stay up and transmitting long enough. It's called Booze and News. It's BOOZE and News. It is, they are focused on Rumble. Just so you guys know, they are focused on Rumble. And the reason being is because they went ahead and did a couple of different channels. They've tried a couple of different outlets and they didn't work out for them. I think Facebook has kicked them off. YouTube has kicked them off. So they've found a home in Rumble, which of course I'm a big advocate for, of course. So as far as that goes, go ahead and if you want, I'm not advocating for their channel. I don't really know all of their topics. Okay. I don't, you know, I'm not going to put any claim on their content or anything else, but I am going to slide over there and I am going to give them a surprise because they were talking about me last night. And so I am going to slide over there and give them a surprise, say hello. And potentially maybe you might see me on their show, which is going to be an obvious flip from what's going on right now. But anyway, I'm going to try and slide over there and say hi. So it would be awesome if you guys do. And once you check them out, once you check them out, if you decide that you like their content and the way that they're doing now, keep in mind, you know, I feel like they are kind of in the beginnings of their podcasting. I honestly don't think that they are they're kind of at the same level that I was about 2 years ago. So, you know, I just get that feeling. Now, I don't know how long they've been doing these podcasts, but, you know, I still get the feeling that they're kind of like trying to find their identity necessarily and their niche. But that being said, I could be completely wrong because like I said, I've only known them for maybe 12 hours. So anyway, I'm going to head on over there. If you guys want to go over and check them out and see if you like their content or whatever, they are trying to hit 100 subs. They're at 90 right now. They need 10 more. So if you go over there, check out their stuff. If you like it, then yeah, help them out because we all got to help each other out. We really, really do. We all have to help each other out and make things to grow, from everywhere. We got to grow. We got to grow. We got to keep up and create the parallel economy. We've got to get away from the leftist lunatics that are doing all kinds of crazy crap, and you know, trying to shove down certain things down our throats and stuff like that. And so, yeah, we gotta go and we gotta check them out. You know, we gotta check out new stuff. And honestly, I mean, if it isn't your cup of tea, I'm okay. That's just like my show. If it's not your cup of tea, I'm cool with that because, that's what makes everybody different. But if you like the program, if you like what we're doing and you like, like what I'm doing, then, head on over to Rumble, set up an account. It's free, sign in, and go and, give me a follow. Cause ultimately my goal is to hopefully, usurp my regular job and actually do this as my living, which would be absolutely phenomenal, but I've got a long way to go with that. So anyway, all right. And speaking about long way to go, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I started putting out a whole bunch of stuff out on Twitter. And I like going to Twitter. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I like going to Twitter every once in a while and just kind of, poking the hornet's nest, let's say. Well, the last couple of days, either I've been poking them or they're actually feeling the pokes, because they, like yesterday, they came out in some serious swarms against me. And it was kind of funny. It's kind of funny about that. And I'm going to have to do, where did that come from? Hold on. Is it not? There it is. Okay. So, hold on. I got something for you. It's just popped up in the YouTube chat that I got something for you, but I'm going to say that in just a minute. So hold on. But anyway, the point being is that I poked the hornet's nest because they are, they are like, they just like swarmed and started attacking me. It was kind of funny. I thought it was hilarious myself, but, I went onto Twitter this morning. I went to go post that, hey, it's Whiskey Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. That's et cetera, et cetera. And, what I ended up finding was there is an imitation account out there that looks sort of, at least in name only, looks like mine. Check this out. So here I'm on Twitter, and if you take a look at this account, now my account's right here at the bottom. Okay, it has the Whiskey Musings logo. It has, Whiskey Musings Broadcast in the name. It's got the underscore in between the whiskey and the musings. But apparently somebody has opened up an account that is exactly like mine, Whiskey Musings Broadcast. And as you can see, they joined in February of 2023. So last month sometime. They've got 0 following and 0 followers, and they obviously haven't been able to scrape my images yet. But the funny thing about it is that apparently I now have a imitation account over on Twitter. So obviously I'm doing something right to gain an attempt to, and honestly, I'm only at like 400 followers on Twitter. So, how am I all of a sudden get going on there? But anyway, somehow I ended up getting a person who is interested in putting in Whiskey Musings Broadcast. Maybe it's a bot. I don't know. But, honestly, I consider it a badge of honor. So that's cool. Anyway, all right. So enough about that. And I want to give a special shout out, actually. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. I got to find it here. There it is. To my youngest fan. If you all remember about the Constitution, I mention him almost all the time whenever I do an ad for the Constitution of the United States and the Institute on the Constitution. My youngest fan, young 12-year-old man who is, I hope he's made his badges, but he was using the Constitution to gain a merit badge in Boy Scouts. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling here. In the Boy Scouts. And so apparently he turns 13 this weekend. So he's no longer my 12-year-old youngest fan. He is now my 13-year-old youngest fan. So, hey, congratulations. I don't want to give his name, but congratulations. And, I hope you have an absolutely fabulous birthday. And, hey, you know what? If you come by on Saturday and let me know that you're there, I am going to tell you that and I will actually do it if you desire, because I have done this for fans in the past. I will sing happy birthday for you. Okay. I put that out there. I'm a man of my word. I will sing happy birthday if you desire it. And you come into the chat or something and let me know that you're there. I will go ahead and sing happy birthday to you. Okay. Cause I've done it in the past. And I'm not that bad of a singer either. I mean, I'm not the best, but I'm also not the worst. So anyway, no, that was, sorry, Desert. That was not his name. That was not the young man's name. That was his father. So, yeah, I try not to let that kind of stuff go. So yeah, that was not his name. All right. Let me see if I can get this thing good. So, okay. All right. Oh, bam. I sing it way better than Joe Biden. You're right. I do. But honestly, that's more than anyway. Okay. So yeah, so that's cool. The more you drink, the better the whiskey sounds. Of course, 3 Chevy. Of course, you have to say that. All right. Okay. So, all right. So obviously, the big thing in the last couple of days has been, and actually over the weekend, has been with regards to the Trump case, and especially the idea that Trump was going to get arrested. And I said it on Saturday. I was like, this is something that is kind of questionable. I mean, again, I think the DA in New York, in fact, many of these legal eagles and legal analysts are all saying that the chances of something like this, I mean, this is kind of an unproven legal theory. There's some challenges with this thing in terms of what's going on. And one of the things that broke on Monday was the fact that there was a new witness that was coming in and going to testify. I've got a minute. Got something on that in just a minute, but the big thing that was running around all on the social media accounts was that everybody was, just going off on the fact that on Tuesday, Trump is going to get arrested. And then Tuesday came and nothing happened. And then next thing you know, we have, oh, it's going to be Wednesday that this is going to be, the case. And well, here we are on Wednesday, and this popped in the news, which actually we kind of all knew, but this popped in the news, and it's from the Post Millennial. But apparently the grand jury that is investigating Trump over the hush money called off for today, delaying the possible indictment vote. And also, it is unlikely that the grand jury will meet for the rest of the week, delaying the process into next week. So, yeah. Again, honestly, folks, and actually, there was a report out by some law enforcement folks that they actually have been told that it won't happen until next week. So realistically, yeah. I don't know if this is going to happen. And there's also some question, like Dan Bongino has talked about, there's also some question about whether or not the Secret Service might get involved here, because the Secret Service has protection detail and Trump's other law enforcement agencies when it comes to their protectee. That's actually in the U.S. code. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, the thing about it is that this is going to be interesting to watch over the course of some time because of the fact that that witness that testified on Monday was to refute, and this is what he did. He refuted Michael Cohen's testimony, and this was a former legal advisor to Cohen by the name of Robert Costello. And he testified before a grand jury that Cohen's testimony is unreliable. And here's the quote from him. Michael Cohen, in my opinion, was lying about just about everything. Costello told Fox News Tucker Carlson Monday on Tucker Carlson Tonight. It was clear to me that the Manhattan DA's office did not want to get to the truth, Costello also said, adding that he got his point across anyway. Costello said that he contacted the authorities involved when he saw the televised coverage of Cohen discussing his testimony before the grand jury. According to Costello, the testimony Cohen described was contrary to what he told Costello and Costello's colleagues in 2018. Costello says, I don't represent Donald Trump, but I do stand for justice, and I think I have a legal obligation to inform both sides. Now, he mentioned 2018. Now, what's interesting about 2018 is the fact that something else popped here in the last, I think, 24 hours, 48 hours. But check this out. So this is a letter supposedly written by somebody, I think it's an attorney maybe, or somebody like that, to the Federal Elections Commission. Now, if you recall, the Federal Elections Commission tried to, and investigated Donald Trump for essentially a very similar crime in terms of using federal elections funds to pay off Stormy Daniels, which is what the New York DA is trying to elevate the misdemeanor charge that he's got right now for falsifying business records up to a felony by utilizing elections funds inappropriately. And so that is something that they are, they're trying to do. Okay. Now, this particular email, because it was sent via email, this particular letter going to the Federal Elections Commission was written by a Stephen M. Ryan, who is counsel for Michael Cohen, listed here down at the bottom. And he says in the letter, he sends it to a Mr. Jordan, who is part of the Federal Elections Commission, I'm assuming, says, I am writing on behalf of my client, Michael D. Cohen, in response to your letter dated January 30th, 2018. Specifically, this letter responds to the complaint numbered, etc., which was filed with the Federal Elections Commission by Common Cause and Paul S. Ryan. In a private transaction in 2016, before the U.S. presidential election, Mr. Cohen used his own personal funds to facilitate a payment of $130,000 to Miss Stephanie Clifford. Now, Stephanie Clifford, for those of you that don't know, I believe, is the real name for Stormy Daniels. Neither the Trump organization nor the Trump campaign was a party to the transaction with Ms. Clifford, and neither reimbursed Mr. Cohen for payment directly or indirectly. Contrary to the allegations in the complaint, which are entirely speculative, neither Mr. Cohen nor Essential Consultants LLC made an in-kind contribution to Donald J. Trump for President, Inc., or any other presidential campaign committee. Mr. Cohen has not been a government employee during the relevant time period. The payment in question does not constitute a campaign contribution or expenditure, and therefore the FEC lacks jurisdiction over this matter. The complainants have not and cannot present any evidence to the contrary. Accordingly, the complaint should be dismissed. All right. So basically, what you're seeing here is the fact that there is a there's a letter out there now that refutes Michael Cohen's testimony to the grand jury. So now we have an individual who is basically saying that Michael Cohen is a liar. Michael Cohen has been prosecuted and convicted of perjury, which is why he's in jail. And now we have a second source that is outside of the legal system from another lawyer who basically is saying that basically the money that was paid was, first of all, paid by Mr. Cohen by himself, as well as the fact that there wasn't an in-kind contribution for the Federal Elections Commission to be a part of it. Folks, I mean, seriously, I'm assuming, assuming this letter is real. So let's just go with that. Assuming that this letter is real, we now have irrefutable proof, and the grand jury should hopefully have irrefutable proof that this is not a problem. I mean, this whole thing that the left is trying to get Trump on, they're trying to get him, and which, by the way, again, so many people are looking at it and they're saying, oh my gosh, we want a perp walk, we want the handcuffs on him. And believe it or not, Trump actually has had indications that he wants that too, just because of the fact that he wants the imagery of it, and especially after something happens and cuts it off. But the whole point is that I think Trump is looking at it as this is an opportunity to basically put the nail in the coffin of anybody else running for president and winning the primary. But the reality of this whole situation is, once again, we're looking at a potential nothing burger. How many years have they gone after this guy? 7 years. They've been after him in his personal life. They've been after him in his professional life. They've been after him in his government life. And so far, nothing has really stuck. That's why he's got the nickname Teflon Don. So this is just it's a really interesting scenario, for this. And again, the more that we find out, the more information that we get, the better Trump's position actually looks like it is. So this is definitely some interesting stuff here. And I really think there's a couple of people specifically who on Facebook, or not Facebook, but on Twitter in particular, who have been celebrating Rob Reiner and also JoJo from Durs, who have been like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I've been telling him, I think you guys need to get your Xanax ready, because honestly, this is not gonna end well for you. I really don't think it's gonna end well. All right. Let's go ahead and get to our pet of the week.
Please check your mailbox. A new message has arrived.
All right. And as I teased earlier, tonight's pet of the week is coming from Bam over on Rumble. It's just, I'm running behind here. What am I doing? So, oops, sorry. That's next. Okay, so here's the pet of the week. Now, I've got to bring up her story here. All right. So, in an accompaniment with this wonderful couple of pictures that you're going to see here, they're very, very cute. We have, hi, Whiskey. It's Bam from Rumble, obviously. And this is my new addition to the family. So let me go ahead and introduce, whoops, wrong one, Buck. Hello, Buck and Lucy. She says, we just adopted them, so I don't really have any funny stories, but I'm sure I will eventually. They're cats. You'll get funny stories. I promise you. Oh, and Bam's daughters, Z, is in the Rumble chat, and she says her orange monsters. So anyway, Lucy is the lighter one with more white on her, and she's a little bit bigger than her brother. They think Buck must have been the runt of the litter. Yeah, that happens. Unfortunately, we lost Hulk 2 months ago, and Ruby has just been so depressed and lonely, so my coworker who volunteers at a rescue immediately called me when these two were brought in. So Ruby is a happy cat mom again. She's already teaching them how to be ultra mega Trumpies. So hopefully by Christmas, these two will be as good as Hulk was when it comes to wrapping presents. If you guys don't remember, Hulk was featured, and I can't remember which episode, but Hulk was featured, and he loved wrapping presents. He was always in the middle of the wrapping of the presents. Okay, so let me change the picture here to the next one. And P.S., by the way, their name is Buck and Lucy, but apparently Bam really wanted to name them Trump and Melania. Look at Buck. He is so orange. That is the perfect name for him, but I was overruled. And I'm guessing Z probably overruled Bam, or was part of the party that overruled Bam. So anyway, so there's the kitties, Buck and Lucy. And congratulations, I guess, to Bam and the family for having 2 brand new kittens in the house. I can't let Mrs. Whiskey know that because she's been after me to get a kitten. I don't, shh, don't say anything. All right. So thank you very much, Bam, for submitting your pet of the week into the program. If you'd like to submit your favorite furry animal, and it doesn't necessarily, I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't have to be a dog, doesn't have to be a cat. I've featured spiders, I've featured rats, hamsters, I think, actually, not rats, but hamsters and things like that. So anyway, if you want to have your pet featured on Pet of the Week, send it in to fans. That's Foxtrot Alpha November Sierra at whiskeymusings.online. The link or the email is in the show notes of both Rumble and YouTube. It's in both. But you can send it to fans at whiskeymusings.online, and I will get it up on Wednesdays for Pet of the Week. I do have a couple in the queue, so you'll have to be a little patient. But the Pet of the Week I generally do in order. This one just happened to fall with the whole Trump and Melania thing on this whole thing. And yes, Sir Legs-a-Lot, which was a daddy long leg spider that was featured on Pet of the Week, is also a fan favorite from the past. So anyway, like I said, fans, FANS at whiskeymusings.online. Send me the photos, send me the names, send me the breed, send me a little funny story if you've got one. And I will go ahead and put them up. And yes, Amy, next week. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and do that. So thank you very much. Like I said, thank you, Bam, for submitting, Buck and Lucy in for the Pet of the Week. I do appreciate that. That's actually a kind of a cute little segment that I put in there. And so it was awesome. These guys are, and I do appreciate everybody putting it out. All right. Let's go back. Okay. So our next big story, is, basically a little bit more about Hunter Biden. Now, this is actually part of what got me to, let's say, get a lot of attention on Twitter. Because for some reason, the leftists that are out there don't like you saying that, hey, we already know that, okay, Trump is accused of God knows all this stuff, 7 years worth, and you haven't produced anything. But yet we literally have evidence of wrongdoing on the Biden family. Well, it's not just us that has it. I mean, it's not just a few locations. It's literally coming up everywhere. Okay. Everywhere. And, this happens to be the latest. A think tank executive, this is in the Washington Free Beacon. Again, everything that I show you as far as like the articles and stuff, all the links are in the show notes or the show description. So you can find them and look them up yourself. I'm not trying to hide anything here. But think tank executive provided explosive info to the FBI about Hunter Biden's Chinese deals, according to a lawyer for that person. An Israeli think tank executive claims that he told the FBI in 2019 that members of the Biden family warned a Chinese energy executive about a coming federal investigation, allowing him to flee the country before being placed under arrest. Gal Luft, the co-director of the Institute for the Analysis of Global Security, Washington-based foreign policy think tank, provided the explosive details to the FBI and the Justice Department in March of 2019, according to his lawyer. Sources close to Luft told the Jewish News Service members of the Biden family tipped off their Chinese partner, China Energy Fund Committee, or CEFC, Chairman Yi Jianming, that he was the target of an FBI probe. The details emerge as House Republicans have honed in on the Biden family's dealings with CEFC China. And amid an ongoing Justice Department probe of the troubled first son, Republicans released a report last week that a close friend of the Biden family, Rob Walker, wired millions of dollars from a CEFC-linked company in 2017 to Hunter Biden, his uncle Jim Biden, and the sister-in-law, who's the fourth member of the family that was part of this scheme, his sister-in-law Haley Biden. The timing of Luft's incendiary claims are certain to draw some scrutiny. That's true. He came forward with allegations about the Bidens last month after the Justice Department sought his extradition from Cyprus on charges of illegal arms trafficking. Luft denies those charges and alleges that the DOJ is trying to bury me to protect Joe, Jim, and Hunter. All right. So we have allegations. We have, we have some possibilities of some stuff. We already know, though. I mean, it's pretty Miranda Devine. I don't know if anybody out there has read the Laptop from Hell book. I actually had it. And I have a copy of it and I've read it. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's just chock full of detail of stuff that Hunter Biden it has been in the center of this entire influence peddling scheme. And we're now starting to see even further details coming out about the money that was being sent and being, put into place. So I'm just trying to figure out where, honestly, and Miranda Devine too, not only just the book, but she's also part of the New York Post staff. And so she's been putting out a whole bunch of stuff in the New York Post with regards to all of this. And so you can look at it. I mean, there's articles everywhere. And the funny thing is that there was a person on Twitter that was, they came at me and they said, hey, if you've got proof of this, why don't you show us? Why don't you show us your proof? And I essentially responded back to them and said, I'm not going to do your research for you. You can go and take a look. You can find it on your own. You're an adult. And, it's pretty much everywhere as long as you pull your collective head out of the mainstream media bubble. I didn't quite put it. That's not verbatim, by the way. I kind of threw a little bit of embellishment in there, but the point is essentially the same thing. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and do all of your work for you when you can go out in a simple Google search, or sorry, not a Google search, because that won't do anything. In a simple search in a free web browser such as Brave, or even DuckDuckGo, I think might have some of these things, but realistically, I mean, it's not that hard to find. It really isn't that hard to find, folks. And so, you know, to sit here and complain about the fact that we're not proving anything, it's there. It's out there. It's out there. So anyway, now apparently, according to the Political Insider, the Hunter Biden scandal may actually now be starting to affect Joe Biden, in particular. So apparently they're saying, and this is, I don't know if it's by Center Square, but Casey Harper is the writer. I'm not quite sure if this is an opinion piece or not, but I would say it probably is. But anyway, so the critics of the Hunter Biden scandal could jeopardize the president's reelection hopes. Now, this is kind of an interesting angle to think about, because as things were starting to come out about Hunter Biden, what happened? Well, Donald Trump got word that he was going to be arrested. So the question that you have to ask yourself whenever you see something like that against, say, somebody like Donald Trump, and I think I've shown here today and on Saturday that, I mean, the charges that are being presented to Trump, I mean, even if he's like charged with a misdemeanor, doesn't really matter. But the thing is that, you know, this thing with Hunter Biden is much more serious. This thing with the Biden cabal, I guess, is much, much more serious. And so this is a bit of a problem. And I think it's going to continue to be a problem the more that we find out about it. And especially the more that the House committee who is looking into this finds out about it. And so this is going to I think this is just going to blow up in their face. I think the entire Trump thing is going to be a big nothing burger, and they're going to be back to the entire situation of having to come up with something to distract us on the right, which also includes things like what, you know, Ron DeSantis is doing in terms of taking shots at Trump. I mean, honestly, you know, from my viewpoint, and this is serious, from my viewpoint, Ron DeSantis isn't even in the race officially. And he hasn't claimed anything. In fact, he's even said that he is not going to announce anything until after the current Florida legislature's period together is, taken care of. And that ends in May. We also have things like Sharon Lindsay over on Facebook says, we also have the depositors and the banking situation and everything else. And so as things keep stacking up against Biden, Hunter, the bad economy, the banks getting all closed down and everything else, as things keep stacking up, what you're going to see is a lot more stories coming out in the mainstream media trying to take down and trying to, basically cut the legs out of Trump, and possibly, and especially they would love to see a Trump DeSantis fight. They would really love that, because that would completely focus the right's efforts onto something else. But I'm sitting here and I'm just like, hey, you know what? Until Ron DeSantis actually declares, assuming that he does, but until he actually declares, all of this is just speculation. All of this is just talk. And so, you know what? It's like, whatever. I mean, Ron DeSantis is running around. He's on a book tour. Okay. He's on a book tour. That's kind of where his focus is. And that's why he's not answering questions as to whether or not he'll run, just like he did with the Piers Morgan interview. Piers tried to corner Ron into saying, are you running? And Ron, deflected the question. And so, all of this speculation, all of this talk, none of it's going to matter until Ron DeSantis declares. Now, Outside of that, do I think they should be taking pot shots at each other? Hell no. But to be honest with you, that's Trump. Trump, like I've said on this program multiple different times, Trump is a wrecking ball. He will be interested. I mean, he is essentially going and wanting to smash through anyone that he sees as a potential rival. And Ron DeSantis does present that to him in terms of, popularity and things like that. I mean, shoot, Ron DeSantis isn't even running, and he's number 2 in all of the polls that you see for the primary. So, I mean, Nikki Haley isn't even in it. Vivek Ramaswamy isn't even in it, isn't even in the running. They're both running way down below. And so, yeah. Also, one other thing, which Jarhead13 over on Rumble, he also brings this up. Right now, the Florida legislature has a law that if the governor wanted to run, he would have to resign as governor to basically run for the presidency. And so, honestly, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, wait a minute, if he has to resign first, I don't see him resigning. I think he still believes that he's got plenty of stuff that he needs to take care of in Florida. I think a lot of this is hype for both the book and also maybe to take a little bit of some of the heat off of Trump. It wouldn't surprise me any if the two of them kind of talked to each other and said, hey, let's try and, toss a little bit back and forth so that, they kind of don't focus on some of the other things that are going on with Trump. Let's just throw this in and start stirring the pot some and give them something give them a story so that they don't see the story, to kind of steal a line from Dan Bongino with regards to that. So yeah. And honestly, I mean, we've got so much stuff to be worried about as far as like the establishment. We've got Chinese coming across our southern border. We've got Mexicans coming across our northern border. I talked about that. I think it was last Saturday. And so we've got all kinds of things that are going on right now that realistically should be more of the focus. We've got China and Russia meeting together and calling each other friends and pals and all these other things. We've got China making waves, and everybody assumes that, even including me, that China is going to take the opportunity of 2024 elections, both here in the U.S. and in Taiwan, to set up their barricade around the island and to block those off. So there is just so much more stuff going on in the world that we need to focus on. And all of this crap about Trump's potential indictment over essentially misdemeanor charges, if they even stick, and also, things like the Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis rivalry is all taking off heat from the Bidens, the White House, the destruction of our economy, our banks going under, our border being a total complete mess, and yeah, so on and so forth. Redford asks here, Whiskey, are they military? I'm assuming you're talking about the Chinese coming across the southern border. I don't think so. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. So I have no idea what's going to happen there. So anyway, he's, I don't know, but it's all coming to a head. Hey, if nothing else, it's certainly making it so that I have a ton of material to work through to get in and do something entertaining for all of you. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So let me cover a few odds and ends articles that popped that I think is really, really interesting. First of all, let me go ahead and bring this up. So apparently a Democrat in Nevada, he's the attorney general, doesn't understand the correlation and realistically the causation for seeing a spike in theft after advocating for literally decriminalizing theft. Gee, you take away the punishment for the crime, what do you think the criminals are going to do? They already don't give a crap. They already don't care about the law. So you take away the one thing that you have, the stick, the punishment, and all of a sudden these people are just doing more and more. I mean, it's kind of like California. California has that same problem. Okay. Well, there's an article, or not an article, there was a study done that came out, and it shows something that I think most people with common sense and logic actually realize. And that's is that 1% of the Democrat counties across the United States make up 42% of America's murders. And here's the thing, is that in the under title here says America doesn't have a crime problem, it has a Democrat problem. I would agree. And so here's the thing, is that we have Democrats are trying very, very hard to say that crime is not because of them. I can tell you right now that just about every single city that is in the United States, for the most part, that has high crime is run by a Democrat, is in a county run by a Democrat, and most are in states that are run by Democrats. The thing about it is that a lot of people don't seem to understand was when you go soft on crime and soft on criminals, and you wanted to do that whole defund the police thing, yeah, crime's going to go up. And especially when you start calling for things like gun control. Folks, gun control, it only works for the law-abiding citizens. Criminals don't abide laws. If they did, they wouldn't be using illegal guns to perform their criminal acts. It's just plain logic, people. I just don't understand it. Well, the study, okay, talks about this. So the 1% of bloody red counties that are part of this 42% include such Democrat strongholds as Philadelphia, New York City, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Dallas, DC, Miami-Dade, Milwaukee, San Diego, St. Louis, Chicago's Cook County altogether. So it's not just Chicago, but the entire Cook County. Houston's Harris County, Lower Houston, I think is what that means. But anyway, Houston's Harris County, Detroit's Wayne County, Memphis's Shelby County, and even Phoenix's Maricopa County, Cleveland's Cuyahoga County, I hope I pronounced that right, among many others. Okay. Now, this is, here's some of the stats about this. So let's see. So according to, this is the study, according to John Lott of the Crime Prevention Research Center, he revealed that 1% of the counties that are part of his setup here that came out have 21% of the population and 42% of the murders. 2% of the counties, so when you double, go from 1% to 2, contain 31% of the population, so only a 10% increase, but have a 56% of the total murders that are out there. Now, I've had an episode on this before where I was talking about red states, blue states, all kinds of stuff. But this is irrefutable evidence that the murders are actually, the violent crimes are occurring in only small sections of the country. They're not happening elsewhere. And so this is, I mean, yeah, this is just, so the CPRC study, which so further down in the piece, it says, this isn't a red state murder problem. Red states have a Democrat crime problem. The CPRC study showed that while 2% of the counties populated by Democrats were responsible for 56 of the country's murders, 52% of the counties had no murders, and 68% of counties had at most one murder. So again, it says these numbers clearly show that America is not a violent country, that we do not have a crime problem, and that gun culture is not the issue. Crime culture in Democrat cities is the issue. Now, obviously, I mean, there's some more stuff. And Jarhead over on Rumble asks, is there a breakdown by race for those stats? I'm going to tell you, I didn't read the entire study. This is just the article, but I did find the study itself right over here. And you can download it once your thing goes away. It'll show. You can actually download the paper. It's right here. You can see it flashing in the blue. So the link is in the show notes if you're really interested to grab it and pull it down and read through the whole thing. I'm sure there's probably some sort of a breakdown in the paper. It may not be broken down by race, but I mean, it's realistic. Let's be honest with you. The FBI crime data has essentially said in multiple cases that 13% of the population roughly is committing 50% of violent crime in America. And that's a fact that is statistically followed by the FBI crime data. So, I mean, honestly, let's be real here. Anyway. All right. Okay. So let's see. I've got about 10 minutes left. Let me just check here. See if I got one more here that I can really. Yeah, let me go ahead and do this. So one other thing that is happening, of course, is the fact that the leftists keep on talking about gun control. They keep on talking about, how the Second Amendment has to deal with hunting. It has to deal with all of these things. And of course, you have Democrat strongholds such as New York and California, as well as places like New Jersey, all trying to, and Chicago, Illinois, Chicago's a city, so Illinois, they all are pushing this idea of gun control and how it has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. Well, time and time again, this kind of stuff happens. A federal judge finds New California's gun control law is in, quote, total violation of the Second Amendment. I mean, I've done I did a whole episode on the Second Amendment. And so, yeah, I did a whole episode on it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but the fact of the matter is that the Second Amendment basically has a statement at the very end that says shall not be infringed. I don't know why so many people seem to think that that is interpreted in any other way other than keep your damn hands off. Okay. So anyway, all right. I'm getting requested by a bunch of people here to do my mail call. So, all right. For the second time ever on the Whiskey Musings broadcast, let's go ahead and do mail call. And let's see what happened here. Oh, this one. And just for those of you that don't know, that is actually the Army bugle that is used or used to be used for mail call. All right. So this is a package. It was sent to me by our wonderful outlaw dogs over on Rumble. And I'm kind of wondering what it is in here because, I mean, let's be honest. Thank you for the DVWM hiss. So that message kind of gives me an indication. So here's the thing. For those of you that don't know, the Delaware Valley Water Moccasins is the swim team that the Outlaw Dogs coaches. And during their season, they became sort of the unofficial mascots of the Whiskey Musings broadcast. And so I spent a couple of segments and things like that talking about the DVWM, the water moccasins. And so, yeah. Okay, so I've opened it. Here we go. I've opened it. Oh, before I get into that, Sabo OH, thank you so much for your donation. Well, I call it a donation, but thank you so much for your Rumble rant. Oh my gosh, I am so thankful. I do appreciate that. That is just absolutely awesome. I do appreciate that totally. All right, let's see what I got in here, because it's got some kind of interesting feel to it, honestly. So let me see what I have here. So, all right, it looks like I got a bunch of things in here. Ooh, take a look at this. So what is this? This is wrapped. God, I almost need a second hand. I need a little bit more room in the studio here. But this is a little bag. It's got something in it. Let me go ahead and open it up and let's see what it is. We have, it looks like a couple of coasters, Water Valley Moccasin, or Delaware Valley Water Moccasin coasters. Check that out. I like that. We've got some also Water Moccasin rubber wrist bands. I'm going to have to put one of those on. That is awesome. I got 3 of them here, so that is great. Thank you. But that's not all. That is not all. I've got some others in here. Let's see. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh, this is a little box, a little Christmas gift kind of box. That's kind of cool. Let's see what we got in here. Got to pull off the Christmas tree. Oh, wait a minute. Has something on the back. It says late Christmas gift, hiss. And of course that goes along with the Water Moccasins theme, the snakes. So I don't do the hiss justice. I know I don't do the hiss justice. I do better at my singing than I do on my hissing. So let's see what we got here. Inside here, we have, oh, check this out. Couple of bells for Christmas, one in white, one in red. It's got a little tie up at the top. Look at that. Well, thank you. That is awesome. That'll go up. Oh, that'll go up onto, whoops, I dropped one. That'll go up onto our Christmas tree, probably for next year. I'll make sure Mrs. Whiskey protects them, and puts them in the proper place, because God knows I will never be able to find them if I put them somewhere. So I'll let her do that. Okay, let me see. What else do we have here? Something else down here. There's a few other things down here. Let's see what this is. Oh, okay. Here we go. Dear Whiskey, I'll go ahead and put this up. Dear Whiskey, thank you for all the shout outs to the DVWM swim team. You made our season special. Hugs and hisses, not kisses, hisses from Coach Cheryl and the team. Well, thank you. I should have pulled that out first. I didn't know that was in there. Thank you very much. It was nothing. Honestly, it really wasn't. Okay. And let's see. So the last thing that I have in here in this is a t-shirt. Oh, looks like it's about my size too. From the Water Moccasins as well. So there we go. Delaware Valley Water Moccasins. Hey, when your season, and check that out. So that's the logo. Look at that logo. So that's the logo that's on these ornaments. You can see that's the logo. So that's a water moccasin leaned over and opening up its mouth. That's awesome. I had a little problem seeing the logo there, but now I got this. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I'm going to have to wear this shirt when the season comes back around again. Let me know. I'll wear the shirt as a part of the broadcast. I'll do that. How about that? All right. And that is my final Whiskey Musings thought of the evening. Thank you so much. This is just awesome. I am just so appreciative. That is, I thank you guys so much. You guys make this show you can ask my wife, Mrs. Whiskey. I look forward to Wednesdays and Saturdays sometimes to the detriment of some of my other responsibilities. I won't say anything more about that, but anyway, that is just awesome. I am so touched. I do appreciate it. I appreciate every single one of you. And definitely do me a favor. If you haven't already, run on over to Rumble, sign up. It's free. Find the Whiskey Musings broadcast. You do a search for it. It should be the only thing that comes up. I hid my personal account so that I didn't mess up the personal account versus the channel. But head on over to Rumble, the Whiskey Musings broadcast, and hit follow. I do appreciate it. This is just absolutely wonderful. I am so blessed by all of you and this for the program, and I do appreciate it. We'll see you guys all again on Saturday night on the next time for the Whiskey Musings broadcast. Hey, and don't forget, if they're still transmitting, head on over to Booze and News here on Rumble. Head on over to Booze and News and stop that. Oh, I got to turn the shirt around. Wait. I got to turn the shirt around. I got to turn it around. What did I miss on the back? Oh, holy crap. You have got to be kidding me. Check this out. Check that out on the back. You guys went and personalized it. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is just absolutely awesome. Wow, thank you so much, guys. That is so great. I am so appreciative. All right. Don't forget to head on over to Booze and News on Rumble. Let's see if we can hit them with a whole bunch of Whiskey Warriors over there. And we'll see you on Saturday. Good night, everybody.